Have you been on zombiesdon'trun.net today? Well, if you haven't, you missed a review for the brand new third American Guinea Pig movie, The Song of Solomon. Now, I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 review, so now I want to do this video and give you a little bit of a verbal detail on why I've reached such a rating on the film. It's safe to say that The Song of Solomon is probably the most anticipated independent horror film this year, and probably one of the more, anticipated films in general. The film, as you can see on the retail version, took off the American Guinea Pig title to reach a wider audience, but if you got the crowd perk, or the crowdfunding version I should say, I'm pretty sure your American Guinea Pig title is intact. The film follows Jessica Cameron, who plays a character that is possessed by a demon. This leads the church to go send a number of priests in to perform an exorcist. One of the priests played by none other than Jim Van Bebber. Now, if you want to watch these movies for gore, you get your gore. The gore is there. But one of the cool things about Song of Solomon is it at least gives you some plot to go with the gore. So there's more of a plot, sort of like Bloodshock. But you still get your gore, maybe just not to the level of Bloodshock or the first American Guinea Pig film. Although there is quite a few gruesome scenes, including one scene where our possessed character manages to puke her guts up and then eat them. I'll say this much, Jessica Cameron probably gives her best performance to date here. I've seen her in The Sleeper. I've seen her in both Truth or Dare movies, the one that she was in and the one she made or whatever. I've seen her also in a number of other things, but this is probably the best she's ever been. I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you. While I will always die on the hill of Deadbeat at Dawn, Jim Van Bebber at least gives his best emotional performance this time around. And he plays a character that I liked quite a bit. But unfortunately, in this guinea pig film, there's a bit of an evolving door of characters that kind of come and go. And that is one of my issues I had with the film, because you don't really have nobody to latch onto in the form of a protagonist. People are here, then they're not. We always have Jessica Cameron being possessed, but we don't always have the same preacher there to root behind as the film progresses. Also, I can't go into some details without spoiling things, but there's a few plot points in this film that kind of come out left field. One of them particularly at the end, and it just kind of leaves you thinking, just, well, what? I cannot say what that is because I don't want to spoil it if you've not seen the movie. I will say that the movie does have a pretty solid plot. It's a pretty solid Exorcist flick, although unfortunately it's not better than The Exorcist like the back of the box says. From an independent standpoint, this movie is great, because you don't see a lot of independent films that reach the levels this one does. When you mix it in with everything that's come out this year in general, it may waver just a bit. I watched this film twice already. I don't usually do that, but I watched it once solo and once with a group of friends. Now, the friends were ranging from the hardcore indie horror fans to the completely casual. The ones that love indie really like the film. They give it, I believe, a 7 out of 10. The guy who didn't really care for independent horror, he hated it. But me, who I like to consider myself kind of like the medium in between all this stuff, found it to be pretty entertaining, although the second time around you can kind of find more flaws. But then again, are you going to watch this for really anything other than the gore? And if you are, well, you're in luck. There's actually more than gore. At the end of the day, I can see Song of Solomon making my top 10 list. I can see it probably being somewhere near the 8-9 range probably, but it'll be there nonetheless. I did not like it as much as Bloodshock, but I did like it way better than, I would say, the first American Guinea Pig film. It's creepy. There's a whole lot of gore. There's some stuff we haven't seen before, and there's some stuff maybe we have seen before. But I believe nobody's going to be completely disappointed if you like indie horror when you watch this movie.